Joining me today is he's a talented musician, MC, host of a karaoke, popular karaoke every Thursday at the Georgie's Pub in New Westminster. He's also a TV film editor and consultant. Doug Lucas is here today to talk about his music career and share some tips for those who are interested in a music career or editing as well. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you for inviting me, Christine.
I always have a habit of saying Mr. Lucas. I think it's because I
That was
don't
my
know,
dad. If the old saying goes, that was my dad. I'm Doug, no problem.
but I really appreciate your time today. And, when I think back how we started, and I'm learning so much about you, I think that we never stop learning. And I didn't know you started your music career at the age of 15. Is that correct?
That was 14, but it was close enough.
14.
Yeah, 14. I was just on my way home from school one day and I was approached by a guy who said, "Hey, do you sing?" And I said, "Well, I can." He said, "Well, I'm in a band. We're looking for a singer and we got a gig in 2 weeks." So I said, "I'll go with that." So I went to his place after school and we rehearsed and then we were playing for quite a few years after that, as a matter of fact, until I left Nova Scotia uh, to move on. So it was a lot of fun, and it was my start.
Yes, but was there a pivotal moment that you knew that, hey, you know what? I love music so much and I just want to pursue a career.
Well, the funny part about it, Christine, is it's not so much music. I do love music, but it wasn't so much music. It was about being an entertainer. If that meant being live on stage or creating, emceeing a show or being a part of a different kind of show. It to me it's all about entertainment, and I believe that it all starts with you being an entertainer. Even as a musician, you can be a great musician, but if you're not a great entertainer, you might as well stay in a studio. You have to entertain the people who come to hear you just as much as they came to see you. So,
I mean, do you come from a family of entertainers?
well, the funny thing about my dad played harmonica on the radio when we were young, and my mother had a great singing voice, and so did my dad. And so Christmas, my siblings and myself and our parents would sit around and Dad would play the harmonica, Mom would sing, and we do Christmas carols and all that kind of stuff. And music was always a part of our whole uh, upbringing because I've got six sisters and a brother, all of whom love music too. So, I was the second youngest sibling, so I got to see all that energy, growing up. So it was always music in the house.
Yes, and I mean, was there I mean, is there a favorite genre that you really enjoy? Like, is it blues? Is it jazz? Or is it all every?
Something. I just love music played well, and I certainly love people who can entertain when they play too. So when I was young, my mother took me to. I mean, this one person, Joe Tex. I mean, he was very famous at the time, and I was only 8 or 9 years old. And my mom took me to see him, and I saw Ray Charles when I was very
Wow.
young. My mom took me to those kind of places, whereas I would never have been able to get into them because it was major events. But my mom recognized the fact that I liked music as much as I did, and so she took me out to see these great performers, and it was really something to see. And I just thought at the time, you know, if I can garner that kind of uh, you know audience, it doesn't matter if they're one person or 100 people. I just thought that would be a fun thing to do. It's what I started playing.
Well, you have, for those who have never listened to you or gone to see you, you have a great singing voice. Is there a song that you particularly like?
Not specifically. Now, my wife, that's a different thing. When we go out and I'm out to sing somewhere, she will point me in which direction, what song she wants me to sing. But there's just so much things about music that I like. There's bands that I like, but you know, uh, there's nothing specific because I've had 54 years of music in my life, and it's hard to say which one I would like the best at this point.
Yes. And I was thinking too that you always support others. And from your music career, and I mentioned at the intro that you are a very in-demand karaoke host on Thursdays at Georgie's Pub. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that in case they want to join?
Well, I'll tell you something. I enjoy. Now, there's a lot of live musicians who think I'll never do karaoke, but realistically, I know a lot of great singers who use karaoke as a practice session for them because in this case, they can have any genre of music, any style of music they want, and they don't have to rely on a band to play it. So they can practice anything, things that they normally wouldn't sing, or things that they'd like to sing. And I've been very fortunate, especially at George's in New West. We've got some great talent there. I'm not a big fan of the shows that are on TV because they're so staged. I've seen people who are just as talented, just amazing. Just, you'd stop and have to listen to people with just the microphone and the speakers and as raw as it gets, and they're still incredibly, incredibly talented. So that's the kind of music I appreciate, the kind of shows I appreciate. So I'm really happy that, we get so many. And I'll tell you something, we get great listeners there too. I mean, great singers are one thing, but when you have people who appreciate that, it makes it just that much better.
And I mean, there's you're supporting the community and, check it out, and supporting musicians and, have your opportunity to sing and it's great. And, but the question I have is like, as a professional musician, like, you do consulting work, you're also an editor. Do you think from your entertainment gene, your DNA, do you think it's transferable skills into what you do today?
Of course, I think that everything you do, like to entertain the public, can be transferred to another part of that genre. Really, the best thing about doing things like and not being afraid to step out of side of what you're used to is that any experience you have is transferable. I'm very fortunate. I have a certificate from the Toronto network of broadcasters, uh, from years ago now. But and everything that I've learned along the way, I was able to use in my other fields because entertainment is entertainment. And the good thing about it is my base is music, and music transfers into everything. And once you get used to the music and know what music can stir another person or pull another person in, you can apply that to just about anything. I'm really happy when I edit and I get to use music in my editing because I know the feelings that music can stir. And when you can mix the both of them together, it's very powerful.
Yes, it is. And I mean, like, who is your biggest supporter?
Well, Christine, other than my wife, I think it would be you. No, I have a few people that I know that I've known for many, many years uh, that always, support my ventures, my entertainment ventures. They've been absolutely wonderful. But I think realistically, it's always been. It was never a career for me as much as it was just a joy of being able to do it. And so I could bounce from one genre of entertainment to the other without feeling like I was ever missing out on anything because each of those give me a different kind of a good feeling about what I'm doing.
That's wonderful. And last question, any tips for those who are wishing to, get into editing, who want to get into music?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is just enjoy what you do and pass that enjoyment along to somebody else. When you enjoy something and you do it to the best of your ability, it transfers into whatever it is you're doing. And then the people who are watching it or listening or being a part of it, they feel that too. It's like a great actor. When you see a great actor doing this thing, you can see his emotion and it transfers into your emotions. Well, it's the same thing with anything musically, anything entertainment wise. When you can translate that into whatever it is you're doing, then people will pick up on that. So my best thing is to do, you don't have to think about a career of doing it. Just have to remember that if you're doing it, you're doing it for the enjoyment of everybody, not just yourself.
Doug, or Mr. Lucas, I want to thank you very much for being a guest and being so supportive of not just myself, for those out there who are inspired by you. And thank you so much for. I'd like to have you back.
Oh, no problem. And I thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.